Hi, welcome to Actual Spinster. I just sprained my ankle, so I'm just kind of vibing. So I thought I'd make a video. And I thought I would make a video about a little project that I think I'm gonna do next year, but it needs a bit of prep work this year so that I'm kind of ready for it. And I haven't fully decided the total parameters of it yet, but maybe I will when I talk it through with you, or after I've done this, you know. But then this video is sort of a little bit like an end of year TBR, or an end of year kind of potential TBR. Yeah. So I've rearranged my bookshelves, and basically all of this bookshelf is relevant to what I'm about to talk about. And then actually there are some stragglers that couldn't fit. So basically, my plan for next year is that I'm not going to read anything that was published after the year 2000. PhD research stuff is going to be allowable, it's not going to be counted, obviously. And then also, I think I will have a sort of maybe 5 or 10 book rule where I can read those, but they have to be from my TBR or something like that. But those are sort of details I haven't fully figured out yet. And I think they will maybe also be impacted by what I read from now until the end of this year, because this whole shelf and the books I showed, they're all books that were published from the 2000s onwards. I think these 3 are from the 2000s. That's The Lamplighter by Jackie Kay, According to Queenie by Beryl Bainbridge, and No One Belongs Here More Than You by Miranda July. I did organise this, so now I feel it's out of order and I'm a bit confused. Then from the 2010s, I have all of these, so I'll just show you them. An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon, Large Animals by Jess Arndt, Dr. Edith Vane and the Hares of Crawley Hall, Elmet by Fiona Mosley, Pseudotooth by Verity Holloway, The House of Shattered Wings by Aliette de Bodard, Signs for Lost Children by Sarah Moss, Lagoon by Nnedi Okorafor, Palestine 100, edited by Baz Magaliuni, A Book of Secrets by Kate Morrison, Leonora by Elena Poniatowska, which I believe is translated by Amanda Hopkinson, Bird Summons by Leila Abu-Layla, The Gallows Pole by Benjamin Myers. And then the books that I have from 2020, actually I will say that in my recent September TBR I talk about some books that probably would be included in this, but they're sort of in that section too, so I don't feel like I need to go over them, but some of the ones I talked about in that are published. They were published before the 2000s. So then there's A Net for Small Fishes by Lucy Jago, or Jago, I never remember. These are 2020, so I don't remember if I said that. Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho, Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun by Tola Okogwu, Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Shri, translated by Daisy Rockwell, The High House by Jessie Greengrass, Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas, Conjure Women by Afia Atakora, and The Flames of Albion by Jean Mingus. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to read all of these before the end of this year, and by year I'm talking about 2023 specifically. We are about to have a new year in Judaism, but I definitely couldn't read all of these before that starts, so so basically let me know if there are any of these that you think I should prioritize reading this year. Like I said, I think I kind of would like to maybe have a 5-book rule or something of books published in the 2000s that I get to read, and then maybe I would get 2 choices of books that come out in 2024 that I get in 2024, something like that. I've been trying to kind of tune away from a lot of the new release stuff, but it is pretty hard, especially being on BookTube, and I do love to consume book content and learn about new books, but at the same time I think it can be really hard not to just get sort of drawn into a lot of the both the sort of buying nature, but also just the new release hyper focus of it, when I really care a lot about history, and I really care a lot about books published in the past. Yeah, but then obviously if I don't want it to be too difficult, plus I don't want to actually stop myself from reading books that I have, so yeah, I'm not sure what to do. I think one of the books I have had for the longest is No One Belongs Here More Than You by Miranda July, so it would be great to read that this year. I have started reading Dr. Edith Vane and the Hares of Crawley Hall by Suzette Meyer. I started it this year, so it would be great to finish this one. I think in terms of other really old ones that I've had, or like, you know, ones I've had for a long time, I think these 4 are probably the oldest. So that's Pseudotooth, Signs for Lost Children, and Leonora. So it would also be great maybe to try to prioritize these. 2 of them are quite big, but you know, it would be really great to read Signs for Lost Children. I read the middle one of this series a long time ago, and I did like it, although I actually liked the first in this series. It's like a loose series, but a series nonetheless, which was Night Waking most. And then again, like, Pseudotooth has been on my TBR for ages. I actually think Anna from Anna Goldberg, don't remember the name of their channel, but I think that they like spoke about this in a recent video of like, Olivia TBR, I've had this on my TBR for ages, and I was like, ayo, snap. This one is about Leonora Carrington, who is a female surrealist artist, or what was. I got really interested in Leonora Carrington a couple of years ago, and then I found this in a charity shop, and I was like, well, obviously I have to pick it up. And then I think part of it is that it didn't travel with me because it's quite big, but now I have access to it right now. So, and then yeah, like I said, this one. I mean, I also have 3 collections of short stories in this pile of books, which are these 3. So I could definitely maybe try to read short stories. The only thing is I don't actually like reading short stories that much, but I am intrigued by all of these collections. It's not that I'm not, it's just the actual practice or process of reading short stories is not especially enticing to me. But maybe what I should do is read 1 short story each from these and see which one I am most likely to pick up, or if that means I will not, and then maybe I can give them away. I think that's a good idea. Maybe I'll make a video where I do that. 2 books with house in the title that I suddenly realised I was like, maybe I should read these together. But maybe not. I would quite like to read Catherine House in October, September time, because it's like a dark academia or like an academia book, and I've kind of been planning on reading either or in October, and then also maybe I could read this. I think that could be fun. These are all like sci-fi fantasy books. An Unkindness of Ghosts has been on my TBR for ages, and I just haven't picked it up, and I want to read other works of River Solomon, and I did read The Deep this year. I'm just kind of scared of it, I guess, and scared of like how it's going to make me feel, and like if I'm just going to be really like upset by the content. But you know, I still want to read it, but I don't think I will put it in the like definitely check out. But I think like this would be something that I would 100% give myself like a pass for if I want to read it next year, because that would be special to finally get to it. I also sort of would love to get to Blackwater Sister and also The House of Shattered Wings. I think Blackwater Sister more so than The House of Shattered Wings, so maybe I'll put this on my try to check out soon pile. There are these 2 historical fiction books, A Net for Small Fishes and A Book of Secrets. This one is set in 1592, so big in my Tudor interest era, and this is slightly later at 1609, but it's, you know, Stuart's just following. I'm not sure that I will pick up either of these soon, but these I do really want to read them. It's just about kind of like vibe. They are historical fiction too, so maybe it's something I'll feel like reading in November or something. I do also kind of want to put this on the like to check out by the end of the year, but I don't think it's likely that I will. But this again is definitely something I would give myself a pass for if I were wanting to check it out. So to try to read by the end of this year, which is definitely not going to happen. I'm just too contrary for like following lists like this, plus I have so many things I really want to read. But I guess I'll like try to pick out of this so that I can make some kind of progress with it. Are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11. One of them I'm already reading. For these 3, I'm gonna try a short story from them, and if I don't do that, then I would probably prioritize this one, and then I'd put the other 2 back on my TBR, unless I start reading this one and I just decide like, you know, it's not my thing. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, yeah, okay, I think that's sort of where I'm gonna leave it for today. And maybe I will decide that this project is just not gonna work for me. But I would really like to do it. I think it could be really interesting. I feel like you'll get such a different perspective on the literary landscape if you do that, because I feel like people also are often like super obsessed with this idea of like, this is the first X, or like this is the newest blah. Extremely descriptive there, but in a way that does often like totally undermine people who did come before, or whose work has just not been like republished, or whose work they just couldn't get their work published. Or not that this project especially kind of is about seeking out non-published people. I think that's pretty difficult, although I guess like I would say that some of my like research stuff somewhat tends towards that a little bit, or people who were published but then have been totally forgotten and sometimes completely erased. And you know, yeah, anyway, I sort of went off on a tangent there, but I hope that makes sense. I think these 4 are probably the 4 that I'm like the most wanting to pick up. That's the Dr. Edith Fein one, No One Belongs Here More Than You, Science for Lost Children, and Catherine House. Yeah, but all of these I am kind of excited by, so that's a good place to be for a project like this. I do also tend to be quite impulsive. It's probably pretty obvious. Which does also mean that when I make plans like this, future me might just be like, well, I want this right now, so I'm gonna read it right now, or get it right now, or whatever. So if you've done a project like this, and you want to give me any like advice or whatever, like definitely let me know. Or if you have any thoughts about like how you think I should deal with it, or like if I should give myself a certain number of passes, or like whatever, definitely do. The other thing as well is obviously people might give me books, in which case, especially like near the end of the year, like for my birthday for example, in which case I probably would want to read those books as soon, maybe not as soon as I got them, but like, you know, within the year. So that also might change how I feel too at the end. Oh, I forgot to say about my project, which is that I don't think I will be including, well, I might include non-fiction, although I didn't include that here. And I'm gonna be like treating all my Judaism books like they're fine, you know, it doesn't count. Which is maybe cheapening it a little bit, but I don't care. Like if I want to read them and they were published before 2000, which a lot of them were, but like a lot of them weren't too, so you know, we'll see. But yeah, cool, I hope it was interesting. Let me know your thoughts, and I hope you're having a nice day when you see this, and I'll talk to you when I next talk to you. Bye!